Now, here's where things get really fascinating. What if I told you that heartbreak affects your brain in much the same way addiction does? That isn't just a dramatic comparison, it's backed by neuroscience. When you form a deep emotional connection with someone, your brain creates powerful neural pathways around that person. Every text message, every hug, every laugh, and every shared experience releases chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. Dopamine is your brain's reward chemical. It drives motivation, anticipation, and the desire to repeat experiences that make you feel good. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, creates feelings of trust, safety, and emotional closeness. Over time, your brain begins to associate one specific person with happiness, comfort, and emotional security. They stop feeling like just another person. They become part of your brain's reward system. Then one day, they're suddenly gone. But your brain doesn't update overnight. It still expects the next text message. It still expects to hear their voice. It still expects them to walk through the front door. Imagine deleting your favorite app from your phone. For the next few days, you'll probably catch yourself tapping the exact spot where the icon used to be without even thinking about it. Not because you consciously miss the app, but because your brain has built a habit. Emotional attachment works exactly the same way. Long after a relationship ends, your brain continues reaching for someone who is no longer there. That's why you suddenly think about them while driving to work, making dinner, walking through a grocery store, or hearing a song you haven't listened to in years. It isn't fate. It isn't the universe sending you a sign. It's simply your brain following old neural pathways that haven't been replaced yet. Researchers have also discovered that the pain of rejection activates many of the same areas of the brain that process physical pain. That's why heartbreak doesn't just hurt emotionally, it can make your chest feel heavy, your stomach twist into knots, and your entire body feel drained. Your brain interprets emotional loss as a real threat because throughout human history, staying connected to other people was essential for survival. Being abandoned once meant facing the world alone. Even though life has changed, your brain still reacts using those ancient survival instincts. But that's only part of the story. Your brain has another trick that quietly keeps you stuck, and it's called nostalgia bias. Have you ever noticed how, as time passes, your memories seem to become more beautiful than they really were? The arguments fade, the disappointments become blurry, the broken promises slowly disappear from your mind. Meanwhile, the vacations, the laughter, the hugs, and the happiest moments become crystal clear. Your brain isn't replaying the relationship as it actually happened. It's replaying the highlight reel. It's like watching the trailer for a movie instead of the entire film. You remember the best scenes while forgetting everything that made the relationship difficult. That's why people often miss relationships that weren't actually healthy. They're not missing reality. They're missing an idealized version of it that exists only in memory. Social media makes this process even worse. Every time you check their profile, reread old conversations, or scroll through old pictures, your brain gets a tiny hit of dopamine. For a brief moment, it feels comforting, but the feeling fades almost immediately, and the emotional crash that follows is even stronger. Psychologists compare this to scratching a healing wound. It may feel good for a second, but it keeps the wound from closing. Every visit to their profile quietly tells your brain, this connection still matters. And as long as your brain believes that, it has no reason to let go. There's another powerful psychological force at work called intermittent reinforcement. It's one of the strongest behavioral principles ever discovered. Think about a slot machine in a casino. It doesn't reward you every time. It pays out randomly. That's exactly what keeps people pulling the lever again and again. Relationships can work the same way. If someone gave you love one day, ignored you the next, and then suddenly returned with affection, your brain learned to chase uncertainty. It became addicted to the possibility of another emotional reward. This is why toxic relationships are often the hardest to leave behind. You're not addicted to the pain itself. You're addicted to the hope that things might finally become the way they were in the beginning. Hope is incredibly powerful. It convinces you to wait just a little longer, send one more text, or believe one more promise. But the longer you hold on to hope, the harder it becomes to accept reality. The truth is, your brain isn't trying to punish you. It's trying to protect you using patterns that once helped humans survive. Unfortunately, those same survival mechanisms can keep you emotionally trapped long after the relationship has ended. The good news is that your brain is remarkably adaptable. Thanks to something called neuroplasticity, it has the ability to create entirely new neural pathways throughout your life. Every new experience, every healthy habit, every meaningful friendship, every personal achievement, and every goal you pursue slowly weakens the old emotional pathways while strengthening new ones. In other words, moving on isn't about erasing your memories. It's about teaching your brain that your happiness is no longer tied to one person. And the moment your brain truly learns that lesson is the moment healing stops feeling impossible and starts becoming inevitable.